my pipe bust. If he holding the right amount of cheese, I might rush the spot up early in the morning, kick the door and wait the foreign the brawling. Cause Tony for the stalling, and all I see is dollar signs. Here's the bottom line: either give up the product or get shot up with a brolic.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we're looking at the second discontinued scent that I bought from the pharmacy across the street from my newer apartment. This one is from the house of Escada, and it is called Casual Friday. And for me, this was sort of the big score scent of the ones that I bought there. This was the first one that I saw and was like, I need this one, and committed to buying. There was only one bottle of this left with, I believe the price tag, 60 bucks. Yep. So $60, and so I purchased this one in Paul Smith's Story, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and Paul Smith Story had a $40 price tag, and I had smelled this one before in sample shopping. I talked about this one because I got a sample from Decan Shop, and I had seen that Dominique Ropion did this one, and he's probably one of my favorite 2 or 3 perfumers. I think he's done the best work of all the perfumers that Frederick Malle has worked with. He did Carnal Flower, which for me is the best floral scent I think that I've ever smelled. Portrait of a Lady, which very well might be the best rose scent I've ever smelled. Vetiver Extraordinaire, which for me might be the best vetiver scent that I've ever smelled. And Geranium Pour Monsieur, which for me is definitely the best mint scent that I've ever smelled. He's also doing their newest fragrance called Indelible. Outside of Frederick Malle and Escada, there's not a ton of men's scents that he's done that I really like, minus L'Homme and La Nuit. L'Homme for Yves Saint Laurent. He's had a few duds for me. Burberry Brit Rhythm, Issey Miyake La Nuit. So definitely a little bit of a mixed bag with Ropion, but I'm all over it when I see that he does a new scent, and I get really excited about that. Before we talk about Casual Friday, let's just talk quickly about Escada. This is a German luxury group that started in the late 1970s by a woman named Margarita and her husband Wolfgang Ley. They actually started the company in Munich in 1978, really made a name for themselves with bright colors and patterns. On the fragrance tip, they started their beauty line in 1990, and the first fragrance was named after the founder, Margarita Ley. Since then, they've gone full in on their fragrance business. They're known for really colorful bottles and boxes, and as of today they make their scents with Procter & Gamble, who also handles Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Hugo Boss, Rochas, Lacoste, etc. Escada has a total of 58 fragrances in their lineup, but it seems that they've discontinued most of their popular men's scent. This one has been discontinued, Magnetism has been discontinued, and Pour Homme has been discontinued. I don't know if they've stopped because these aren't selling or they use materials that can no longer be gotten. But for me, this one and Pour Homme are really the only 2 that I find to be bottle worthy. I don't think that Magnetism is anything special. If I found it at the right price, I'd probably buy it for collection purposes, but that's about it. Casual Friday came out in 1999. Dominique Ropion was the perfumer on this one, and notes on it are bergamot, coriander, lavender, cotton flower, anise, and patchouli at the top. In the middle, carnation, lily of the valley, cinnamon, jasmine, and cardamom. And at the base, cedar, oak moss, patchouli, tonka bean, vanilla, and amber. This is not available via retail routes anymore. On eBay, I see this one usually between $150 and $200. This is the 75 ml bottle you see right here, and it is an EDT formulation. Is it worth that price tag? Let's take a look. As far as your presentation goes, it comes in like a plastic tube, like sort of a not really a weird shaped tube. Casual Friday, Escada Pour Homme. Nothing on the bottom. On the back, you have a badge code and your information. You have the E's, Escada E's on the top, and the price which I paid for it. The bottle is metallic. The bottle is metallic. It's sort of ribbed. The top has like a gloss to it, and you have the sticker on the bottom with the matching batch code. This is sort of what's the word I'm looking for? It's got like a scratchy sort of material, almost like a plate. The cap is really light, but also metal, I think it's like aluminum, and then you have a metal atomizer that really does shoot out a nice nice distribution of juice. I actually don't like this this presentation all that much. I do think it looks a little bit weird and outdated. But for me, This is one of the best of designer fragrances that I've ever smelled. And if they still made sense this way, I think reviewers wouldn't be so negative on the designer industry. What I get out of this one mainly is anise, lavender, and cocoa, and a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of patchouli. It is blended absolutely so superbly. To me, it's one of those scents that just has to be experienced, because my words can't really do this one justice. You know how often with designer fragrances it's difficult to pull out notes because they're all really soft and nondescript? Here you can smell the quality basically in every note, but they're weaved together in the same way, and it really sort of becomes a symphony. The way that individual instruments come together to make a beautiful song. It's a sweet scent. It's not too hard to figure out that it's really based upon cedar, vanilla, and amber at the core, but on top of that woody vanilla base is this gorgeous melange of spice that really does make this perfume very unique. When you look at men's designer scents that came out in 1999, it was a very good year. You had 212 by Carolina Herrera, you had Allure Homme by Chanel, you had Pie by Givenchy, Nemo by Cacharel, Rokas Man. You sort of see a break from the freshy scents that dominated the 1990s. Even 212, which is a fresh scent, doesn't really rely on aquatic notes. Now this one gets some comparison to Lolita Lampico Au Masculin, and those are fair comparisons, but I find this one to be far superior because it has more depth. The anise note isn't watery, it's very rich, it's very decadent, and I love the cocoa and the vanilla and the anise together. I also get tremendous performance out of this scent. 10 hours easy and very good projection and sillage. I would call this unisex, very much so, but it does lean a little bit towards masculine, I think because of the lavender. And this can be worn by anyone, I would say 3 seasons out of the 4. I don't know if this is going to work for you in the summer, but any occasion, night out, date scent, work, this one is absolutely fantastic. If you didn't want to buy this one, and you were looking for something similar, the 2 fragrances that I would tell you to check out are Lolita Lampico Au Masculin, which does remind me a little bit of this, but as I said, that one's sort of more transparent and watery. And I'd also check out Yohji Yamamoto Pour Homme, which is sort of an anise fragrance that has been reformulated. And then I would also check out L'Instant de Guerlain Extreme by Guerlain, which sort of also has an anise and a cocoa and lavender vibe to it. If someone were trying to talk you into buying this fragrance, I think they'd tell you it's a collector's item, it's a fantastic scent, you've got a Dominique Ropion masterpiece here, and it's unique and it's versatile. I think if someone were trying to talk you into skipping this one, they would probably say it's really expensive, the presentation is pretty dated and weird, and there are just cheaper options like Au Masculin if you were looking for something like this. If you haven't yet put 2 and 2 together to figure out where I lie in this one, I think this is one of the best designer scents ever created, in my opinion. If it was still available and you could walk to Sephora and purchase this one, it would be a 10 out of 10 for me because of the price point though, and the hoops required to jump through this one, to get through this one. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It reminds me a lot of Antidote, not because they smell identical, but because they're both these discontinued, high quality, well blended, excellent fragrances, and they both require a similar investment. If I had to have one of the 2, it would be really tough, but I think I would lead toward Antidote just because Antidote is a touch more modern, but man, this is a solid scent and really is worth looking for at the right price. And if you haven't really looked at Dominique Ropion as a perfumer, I would really recommend doing so. So I hope you have enjoyed this review of Casual Friday by Escada. We will be back next week with more videos. I obviously am Maximilian.
Stainless, you just remain as calm as possible. Make the deal go through. If not, here's 12 shots. We know how you do. Please make your killings clean. Sluts up in between.